Well, welcome to This Week with Association Chat, where I am just going to tell you what's going on with Association Chat, what's been happening this week, and super casual, except I've got some fun little, I'm using StreamYard, so I'm going to be able to bring in a few examples and things like that about stuff I'm talking about. But the goal is this isn't going to be longer than 15 minutes. And if you want to engage, please go ahead and comment. Since it is StreamYard, if you have granted StreamYard permission to know who you are, then it will post who you are along with your comments. And if you haven't, then what's going to happen is it will just show like Facebook user or something like that, or YouTube user, and it won't tell me who it's from, but it will have your comments there all the same. And then later I can go and investigate it and find out who actually commented and say, thanks for commenting. Thanks for caring. So happy Friday. We've made it this far. And I don't know about you, but by the time we end the regular work week, during the time of COVID, if we've made it to the end of a work week, and I have a couple of days on the weekend, I can look forward to not being on a Zoom call. I just get giddy with excitement. I get very, very excited. And so what I want to go ahead and do is give you some news that you can know about, things that you might be interested to hear. And yeah, hopefully give you some information and insight that might make your weekend a little bit better and might help you to prepare for next week. As you go into the weekend, you can hang out in the backyard and sort of fantasize about watching future Association Chat episodes. I mean, stranger things have happened. Okay, all right, got it. Note cards, they are the key. All right, so if you are watching this, and it means that you're probably plugged into the private Facebook community for Association Chat. If you are, then what that means is you have just a little bit more time, on a Friday to go through. And on every single Monday, I ask a question, and it's the question of the week. Sometimes I'll post 2 in a week, but that's rare. Mostly it's just Monday. I post a question of the week, and then people respond. And this week, the question had to do with what kind of uniform do you wear when you're working from home? What is your working from home uniform? And I encourage people to, for bonus points, to post a picture of their work from home uniform so that we could see them in all of their glory. And you know, there were a lot of really great comments. I think we had something like over 50 comments. But for those of you who posted pictures, here is the deal. The pictures that have the most comments and or responses, the most reactions, I'm really looking for that little number that shows how many reactions that a picture received. That person will receive a free Association Chat coffee mug. I know, it's so exciting. And I'm just telling you that if you're excited, you have no idea how excited I am. I'm very excited that somebody's going to be able to get a lovely Association Chat coffee mug. But yes, it will happen. And if you think that you want to post a picture of your work from home uniform and it's worthy of being able to receive enough of the votes before 3 p.m. Eastern time today, that's Friday, then go ahead and do it. You still have time. But here's what I'm going to suggest. If you haven't voted yet, please take the time after you watch this to go and cast your vote or comment if you haven't, and help those who posted pictures of their work from home uniforms to get closer to acquiring a lovely Association Chat mug. I'm going to try to do more things like this because, listen, when a lot of us are still working from home, we need to have fun with that, right? Plus, you know, it's a little Association Chat love. Add a little fun into things. So that is something you can do right away to have a great impact on someone's life. Now, here's something you may have missed. This came out yesterday, and if you go to the associationchat.com website, you will see that there is a story there about some of the latest news that came out of Europe yesterday. The highest court, the highest European court, made an important ruling that will impact all of us within the United States, and for everyone who's working in the EU, who's corresponding with and sharing data with the United States. Beyond GDPR, there was a very important ruling that happened yesterday. And so all the data privacy people are abuzz about this. And it actually adds some complication to things, as if life weren't already complicated, right? So the news is this, and people are still trying to figure out what exactly this means for as far as next steps. But basically, the ruling has to do with recognizing that each state within the United States has its own privacy rules, and they're going to be, if you think about California and New York and the different rules that are in effect for those states, what the court decided is that separate rules have to be established. They're recognizing the separate states as separate states, right? So how, why, and what happens next is kind of to be determined. And data privacy experts like the Trust Bridge, whom you may have come into contact with through Association Chat, I bring them on occasionally because they're the experts, and they've been teaching all of us about GDPR and beyond that. This is the latest, biggest news to really hit yesterday. They shared some information. I shared that on Association Chat. So I would encourage you to go over there, go to associationchat.com, check it out. And if you need advice, if you need more information, if you want more information, then comment, let me know, let them know, and we will get answers for you. The second thing you might notice while you're over on associationchat.com is that there is a new article up about for people who are looking for jobs, might be looking for jobs, want to put themselves in the best position in case they find themselves in the position to need to look for a job. There's this really wonderful article. Shira Harrington Lotzar just wrote this article, and it is over there called, "Is This Your Hire Moment?" Hire like H-I-R-E, not hire, but it's a play on words. So is this your hire moment? And is this your hire moment? It goes through her words of advice. Now, Shira is someone that a lot of people know. So they know her for her work as an executive coach. She does executive recruiting. So I reached out to her and I said, look, I think a lot of people are worried about their jobs. I think they probably want to know what do I need to know in order to put myself in the best position in order to, be hireable and to be, in a super attractive place in case I need to get a job. I think that this is where people are. Hey, Robert. Hey, good to see you. So I'm going to go ahead. That's what that looks like when you're logged into StreamYard. Pretty amazing, right? So I went ahead and reached out to Shira and I said, what kind of advice would you give? She wrote this very lovely, it explains everything you could ever want to explain. These are the steps she's recommending to people. These are the steps you need to take in order to put yourself in the best position to be hireable, attractive to an executive recruiter. If you're in the position where you're looking for a job, what she advises people to do as far as LinkedIn and all kinds of stuff. So go over to associationchat.com and look for the article, "Is This Your Hire Moment?" And it gives tips for those who may be looking now or in the future. And a little heads up, I will be having Shira come on Association Chat later in the month, and we are going to go over her tips where you can ask her questions directly. And then we're going to be talking about all of those things that just make people more hireable in a time like now. because, certainly we're going through a strange time, but it's not the only time when, people have been looking for jobs, or there might be a little shakeup in the association industry too, and or with the economy. And so we're going to talk about that, how to weather the storm. All right, so let's talk about what's coming up next week, though. And there's more content over there. Go and explore, have fun. But while you are doing that, I want to go ahead and tell you about what's happening next week, because we're going to start with a lovely interview with Amy Ledoux. Who knows Amy Ledoux? Speak up, speak up. Amy Ledoux is a whole lot of fun. I just really, really like her, appreciate her. And she is somebody who, works with ASE and ASE Learning and has been there for a long time. And she is going to be talking with us a little bit about what ASE is doing to basically take their huge ASE annual meeting that happens in person every year and to turn it virtual. But so here's the deal that makes that more exciting. So ASE Annual, which happens year after year after year, annual, yes. This is its 100th year, right? The 100-year celebration for ASAE. So as you can imagine, they've been talking and gearing up for this since before annual last year. I mean, this was the discussion. I remember being at Great Ideas last year and talking with folks in the meetings department and stuff like that about how they're already making these plans for the big 100. We get to this year, and of course, you all know how this goes. Yes, the pandemic happens. Yes, we know we get to the point where we are not having the in-person meetings. But for a second, it kind of looked like we might pull through and have meetings in the fall, until it didn't, right? Until we didn't get to where we needed to be. And so ASAE they're in the middle of making this happen. And what I'm going to ask Amy is I'm going to ask her all of those questions I've been hearing people ask about every single virtual event out there. What are you doing in order to encourage sponsors to sign up? What are you doing to increase the value for the exhibitors? What will that engagement look like? How are you making it attractive enough to exhibitors to want to spend the money to do it? What kind of platform are you using? What made you choose that platform? What about the tools that are involved? How are you going to encourage engagement? What role does community play in all of this? How did you get your speakers prepared? What kind of format are the presentations going to be in? How did you decide to communicate with the speakers about all of that? And so much more. So if you have questions that you want me to ask, if you have ideas that you want to ask Amy herself, then I encourage you to join me on Tuesday at 2 Eastern time, and ask your questions. If you want to ask them ahead of time, you can actually, in the comments for this particular discussion we're having here, it's not a discussion, I'm just talking to you about what life is about. Then go ahead and comment below. And if you have questions at the time, you can certainly ask them then too. And I'll make sure that we get to those during the conversation. Before I forget, I'm going to be on Gather Voices, talking with them on their webinar. That's next Tuesday. That happens, I think, at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I have to double check. It's a 30-minute conversation, but we're going to be talking about how COVID-19 has impacted the association industry and the future for associations, sort of based on that. And we're really going to be looking at what this has meant for business relationships, what this has meant for, changing around the business model, a lot of information that's happening in the association space, concerns, ideas, innovations that are taking place. And it's going to be a very interesting conversation. Listen, Michael Hoffman, if you don't follow Michael Hoffman, and if you're not familiar with Gather Voices, you should definitely connect. He's very active on social media. He's active on Twitter. based out of Chicago, but Gather Voices is really great for user-generated content. And I would suggest that you go and follow him and follow Gather Voices to find out more about their webinar series, to make sure that you tune in to the one that we're doing, the interview that we're doing. But more importantly, I think, to actually just follow Michael, because he's just a super nice, smart guy, okay? You're going to be thankful that you're following him. All right, and then I don't want to keep talking for too long. I'm a couple minutes over what I wanted to be. Harriet Washington. She wrote Medical Apartheid, which is the book, the very first book that really covered this history fully of medical experimentation on Black Americans. And I am going to have her come on and talk with us about how racism plays a role in health inequities. Now, why is that so important for us right now? Well, obviously with Black Lives Matter, you know, this is a time when organizations are being expected to basically step up. Like, if you haven't been doing what you need to do, this is the time to do it. And to be quite honest, most of us, even if we thought we were, you know, quote unquote woke, even if we thought that we knew, even if we thought we were helping, there's clearly a lot of systemic racism that's happening in all areas of our society. And in order to confront that and deal with it in a healthy way, and more than just a healthy way, in a way that's actually productive and going to make change, what we have to do is we have to start exploring where this stuff is burrowed in, where this racism is burrowed in and baked into the way that people are treated, the way that people, you know, where are there differences that we may not have noticed or questioned before that we need to change. This is also very relevant because even without looking at the Black Lives Matter protests that are still raging across the United States and really even in other countries, it's also a situation where we're dealing with COVID-19 and we're seeing this huge amount of disparity between the treatment that our Black Americans are receiving from others. And there's a question of, is this because of systemic racism? Is this because of the living conditions, the environment, which also resolves back to systemic racism? And we're lucky because Harriet Washington, who's going to be on talking at 3 p.m. Eastern time next Thursday, with us on Association Chat, she's literally written not just the book on medical apartheid, but she has also written a book on environmental apartheid and how that has caused an issue. So she will be with us today to answer next Thursday, to answer some of those questions and to answer your questions. These are important things to ask so that we can not just be more actively helping to change this society into the one that we need it to be, that we want it to be. But it's also so that we can educate ourselves and really understand where there are things that we might have been blind to before. And as I see some of the work that the text to table folks are doing, and some of the great work that so many organizations are putting out there, great information. I was looking through ASAE's Collaborate site with all of their events, and there's so many great discussions from PCMA, from ASAE, from all kinds of, and looking in all these different areas. And we have to stay on it. We have to keep doing what we can in order to make things better. Here's an interesting piece that you can look up with Harriet Washington. She was just on NPR talking on July 4th, Independence Day this year, talking about the ethics of coronavirus vaccine trials in developing countries. And so I'm telling you, she is fascinating. You're going to absolutely love this interview. I mean, even if even if I dropped off of the face of the earth, this woman is amazing. So I hope that you'll tune in for that. There's information, of course, in the group about how to sign up. There is sign up information that's also available on the associationchat.com website. Watch for new articles that are getting ready to drop on the website as well. There's just a ton of information that's getting ready to come out there. And again, go ahead, vote on those work from home uniforms that you love, that you like, that you want. Who is it that should win the Association Chat coffee mug? You decide. We have the power in our hands. This one's an easy one. So go and vote with likes at 3 p.m. Eastern time today. I'll announce the winner, the person who received the most reactions and comments on their uniform for work from home. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, rest of today, rest of the Friday. If you have any questions or if you have suggestions on what you would like to see on Association Chat coming up, let me know. I know I don't always do these types of things with you very regularly. And to be honest, I've been trying to kind of hide away a little bit more lately, feeling a little bit more introspective. And, you know, it's kind of weird. We're all balancing our personal and professional stuff as we're working through this 2020. But I hope that all of you are doing well. And I hope that as you are answering questions in your own lives and really trying to figure out, you know, how to put one foot in front of the other and do the very best that you can, that you're getting value out of the information that's posted on Association Chat, the interviews that are being done. Big thanks to Mike DeAndrea, who has been just really, he's with Greater Talent Network. He's helping me find some amazing guests to come on Association Chat, work with him. He's a good guy. And if you need anything, let me know. In the meantime, have a fantastic weekend and always ask questions to learn every day. As Joseph Campbell once said, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Have a great weekend, everyone.